Hello, everyone. Is this working? Yeah? Oh, yep. Sounds good. Excellent. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you for being here and joining us in a little moment of reflection and preparation for IAC 2025, which I think will be absolutely spectacular. It's been a pretty long journey. For me personally, I started working on IAC in, I think, 2021. And Lisa, you've been working on it for years now as well.
And I think that long.
Oh, no, quite a long time. And I think it's not unreasonable to say that IAC 2025 is going to change the face of space for Australia in the same way that IAC 2017 has had a really lasting impact and legacy. So what we wanted to do is just hop up here and have a quick conversation to share with you some of the reasons why you might want to come along, some information about how to make the most of it, and basically, if I'm being quite honest, how you can get someone to approve you coming. So we're going to go through that, and I'm going to start by asking Lisa some questions, and then Lisa will ask me some questions, and then we'll have a bit of a chat, and then we'll hop off and get on with the rest of the day. So to start off, Lisa, who is going to be there at IAC?
Well, we know so far that we have over 3,000 registrations, which as at close of early bird, which is absolutely phenomenal. So if I can just thank a few people for that, because that doesn't happen very easily. And to be fair, we actually beat Milan, and Milan is in the centre of Europe. So we have more early bird registrations than IAC 2024 Milan, and we are at the opposite end of the world to Europe and the US. So that is phenomenal. As much as it's probably going to embarrass you, I have to say thanks for your rollers. I know you've got multiple hats, and you've done a lot lately. You've been in the news and so on. So congratulations on that. But with your IPC co-chair hat on, you were able to convince so many amazing people from all around the world to submit the best quality abstracts that we could possibly get. I have to say that Annie has been directly responsible for making sure, we don't say that too loudly, but making sure that 10% of all of the abstracts that we have at IAC, and there were 4,100 that were approved initially, are Australian, which is incredible. So we have people from 80 to 100 countries coming, and a huge amount of those will be Australians that are presenting up on stage and presenting this world-class research. So well done. Thanks also so much to the Australian Space Agency and New South Wales Government as our co-hosts for travelling the world, for using their representatives globally to actually make sure that we can get the best quality representatives from everywhere, and also to MCI, who's our professional conference organiser, who has done an incredible job working tirelessly over weekends, mornings, nights, etc. So we're very excited. So who is coming? That was a long way to say just thank you, and we're blown away by the interest in Australia and the Indo-Pacific region. I mean, evidently we need our Prime Minister there, we need all our ministers there, so we will be making sure that they attend. Jeff Bezos just won the World Space Award from the IEF, so we're making sure that he knows that he is very welcome to attend as well. But in all seriousness, we have over 60 members and ministers of parliament from all over the world who will be attending the members and ministers of parliament meeting on the Sunday, which is very prestigious. We will have over 60 heads of space agencies as well attending, so from ESA, the European Space Agency, from ISRO, India, from Japan, JAXA, who we heard from today, Canadian Space Agency, New Zealand Space Agency, and more. Space-enabled industries, actually, which is what many people on stage have been speaking about today. So how do we actually invite agriculture and mining, oil and gas, and all of these other space-enabled industries into IAC so that the space industry actually has their end customer there? So please be mindful of that. That will be an amazing business opportunity for all of you attending. There will be more details on that. I don't quite have it all wrapped up soon. I've still got 2.5 months to go to get this all done. But yeah, it's going to be an incredible experience right on our doorstep.
I could not be more jazzed about this. Thank you so much for that summary. And I wonder, quick show of hands, how many people here have already booked their ticket for IAC? Oh, that's pretty good. How many are putting in or doing a paper or a presentation? There we go. That's the numbers we want. All right. So, with that in mind, IAC is massive. I remember my first one, and it was just overwhelming. For our industry, being on the world stage in front of all of these companies, these agencies, all of the people you've mentioned, how can they navigate it and get the best value?
Yeah, and I think there are quite a few ways, and Enrico touched on a few of these earlier, but just make sure that you're really well prepared. So we're trying to do what we can across Austrade, across the Australian Space Agency, across SIAA and New South Wales Government and various other states and territories as well, to offer webinars with different countries. So we've had webinars, I've got to try and remember them all now, with Luxembourg so far, with France, with Norway, Slovenia last week, and we have webinars coming up with Slovakia, with Canada, and many other countries still yet to be announced. So essentially, this is all of the businesses that are actually coming to IAC who want to be able to meet you in advance. So they want to know who they're coming to visit. We don't want to overwhelm everybody in the 1 week that IAC is, which is why we're actually trying to establish those relationships now. The sessions that have already happened have been recorded. Those businesses are very interested in meeting, so we will soon share all of those links. So if you wanted to get a feel for, well, what's actually happening in Luxembourg, great, tune in, look at those recordings. Actually, I'm not sure if we recorded that one. Sorry, try the other ones. Luxembourg's coming back again because they have some investment opportunities for our Australian space industry, which is actually also very exciting. So please make use of all of those opportunities to connect in advance. Enrico was mentioning, pitch decks and presentations and things like that, and the power of branding. Your elevator pitch, like, this is all really obvious stuff, but what happens if you get and this happened to us recently actually at Expo 2025 in Japan. What happens if you're standing next to Yamakawa-san, the president of JAXA, and you do get a 10-minute audience to say whatever it is about your company? What are you going to say? Make sure you have that absolutely dialed for the right audience. So lots of opportunity. There are some fantastic events that are actually outside of IAC as well. Some approved, some not so approved, but that's okay. They're all they're all welcome. I'd like to call out specifically the defence events that are on the Sunday prior. So there's a quad event and there's a Five Nations partner forum, which are going to be really, really great to get specific countries together to discuss what is important in space and with regards to national security. So these events will be a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate as well, with very specific conversations happening. So if you can make use of those. Each state and territory is also, pretty much every state and territory is actually putting on events around the country. I know South Australia has many, and Western Australia, and like I said, most of the other states and territories, also New Zealand. So if you want to actually follow the delegations as they actually travel, then that's another opportunity to continue all of that great conversation. So don't just think about IAC and what you can be doing specifically there, but actually more broader.
Phenomenal. Okay, last question for you, Lisa, before we get to me, is the hard one. Tickets are expensive. So, if you're a small company or a small organisation, who should you be sending to get the best value out of the money you're spending?
Yeah, and that's a good one, and I do apologise for the ticket pricing. It's not me, I promise. And it has just gone up because early bird ended. But this is probably going to be the cheapest IAC that you'll actually ever get to attend, not only because prices will probably go up in the future, but because it is in our backyard, and it doesn't happen very often. The last time was 2017 in Adelaide. So I think as a whole, it's pretty exciting that it's not too far away in Sydney. For small businesses, I do understand it's not cheap. It is a significant investment of both time and money. Obviously, whoever is actually capable of making those sales and who is your most senior person is going to need to be there to be able to compete on that global stage. But equally, what I would say is if you have an exhibition presence, and many of the states and territories have 10 I don't know. Anyway, I think there's some that are up to 40 or 60 people that they're actually hosting on the states and territories stands. So if you are exhibiting, just remember that you probably can't do everything all at once, and that you will need to send someone for those B2B meetings while someone is actually on the stand. And it's exhausting. I nearly fell over at the end of Milan, and I'm sure many of you who've gone have had that same experience too. Also, for young professionals, there are discounts, so don't forget to bring the young professionals in your team, because that will be more cost effective, and there are different passes like exhibitor passes and so on as well. So I do get it, it is hard, but it is this once in a lifetime generational opportunity with everyone looking at Australia now. So maybe I can turn some questions to you then. I'm really interested in, well, what actually makes this, in your opinion, what actually makes this IAC different to all of the others in the past?
Sure. I mean, I think for me, look, I've been to many IACs, not as many as some in the room. My first one was 2018 in Bremen, and it was the start of it was the first time I walked into a room and thought, I can have a career here. This is a thing. There's a space for me here somewhere. And I think many people have had that experience of feeling like going to IAC is like coming home. Suddenly you're not the only nerd in the classroom. The whole classroom is nerds, and you're just one of them. So it's a beautiful experience for that reason. But I think what is going to make Sydney different is it's big. The scale of it is not like any other conference you've been to. The internationality of it. What other opportunity do you have to talk to the president of JAXA? And that is something you can do. Like, it's something that I have done at an IAC, and it just sort of happens. And then I think building on that, there's the opportunity for networking that will last a lifetime, not just a career, because you will make friendships with people around the world who you have so much in common with, who you might work with in future, but also they're just people in your network who can take you to places you wouldn't have thought. So I think for me, that's the kind of the main points on that one.
And a question back at you, how do you actually make the most, or how do you recommend everybody makes the most out of IAC? Because the program is quite complex, let's call it, and the technical program is incredible with such great quality abstracts. How can everyone what should they be doing in a typical day at IAC?
So there's no right answer. The best conference is the conference that happens between the conference, which is where you thought you were going to go to this session, but then you end up getting waylaid in a corridor with someone, and then, a conversation happens, and then suddenly you're at lunch, and, all of that. So I think the main thing is to be open to change, but to change you have to have a plan. So to make a plan, there is an app that's created by the IAF, the International Astronautical Federation. That app has all of the information of the full program in it. It is massive though, and can be hard to navigate. So you can also look online, you can search for particular topics, particular authors, and don't overlook the strength of the moment of someone saying to you, I'm going to go watch this presentation, come with me. I think for me that's the best way to really make the most of it, and just take advantage of the opportunities that come up as they come up.
And what are you most looking forward to in the program for IAC?
Oh, well, you touched on it before, Lisa. It's the Australian content. I've been working really hard behind the scenes to get Australian content into that program. I won't talk to the numbers because it will become very obvious what I've been doing. But if you look at the numbers, you will see what I've been doing. And I think the mark of a good IPC co-chair is that you don't see what's happening. It's very subtle, it's all beneath the surface, and then suddenly there's a program and it's what we wanted. And I feel really proud of the program that we've put together. I'm really grateful for the fact that so many Australians came forward and put in abstracts. To give you an idea, we've gone from less than 2% of submitted abstracts to 10% of the program being Australian. That is phenomenal in terms of growth, and for me the biggest excitement there is the opportunity that gives to people who would never have had the opportunity to speak on a world stage, to speak about what they're doing, and to be seen to do so. So I love my role as IPC co-chair. Although I'm up on stage today, most of the time I'm in the background, lurking in the corners, getting deals done. And I'm so proud of everybody for leaning in and taking that opportunity, and I can't wait to support you at the conference. So that's undeniably the highlight for me, Lisa.
Well done. And maybe as the time runs out, maybe one last tip that you have for everybody going into IAC.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if you haven't got a ticket for the gala dinner, get one. Just, I can't tell you why. It's a secret, but trust me, you want to be there. And also, the opening event on the first night is going to be, it's just going to knock your socks off. I think you just have to make sure you're there at both of those things. 10 seconds, Lisa. Final words?
Um, I guess we have the rest of the world coming to us, so they're coming to our doorstep. How even it's the little things that matter as well. So how can you make someone feel really welcome? Give them a little hidden tip about Sydney. Take them to across the harbour to actually see a koala. Do something like that, and then actually make someone's day an experience in probably what is the first time that they will ever come to Australia. So thank you. We really hope to see you all there. We really appreciate the support for what's going to be an incredible event for our industry.